are the people who are our biggest problem. Yes. Because today we don't have any independents whatsoever. We have the Tories, we have Labour, we have Liberal Democrats, we have 3 Social Democrats party. Yeah. No one else to speak on behalf of the British people. And that's why we should be here today getting the message across. May I ask, because most of you I suspect are Ukip people, are you here now? Most of you? Got a show of hands? How many who are Ukip? Oh gee, I'm talking to them. I might as well go. So in any case, it's to those people who are here who are not necessarily Ukip that I want to convey this conversation to. Because, and even to those of you who are Ukip, as myself now, one of the things what you need to remember is that every time you go out on the street, every time you do the canvassing, every time you drop off a leaflet, every time you talk to someone over the fence, sometime in a shop, you are conveying that message. And it is very, very important that we continue to do that and extend upon that. I mean, Vanessa was telling me, and as you mentioned quite earlier, that we do a lot of twittering, should we say, between us, and
chatterbox.
Chatterbox, yes, absolutely, and
multitasking.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's one of the great ways of today of being able to convey our message across. I know that not everyone is conversant with laptops and have a computer at home. But that doesn't matter necessarily, because at the end of the day it comes down to the old foot soldiers. It's people talking, it's conveying with people, putting over a message. And that's very, very important. If the UKIP is to succeed and continue beyond the measure of the 11-12% that we are getting nationally, averaging on by-elections currently at the moment, and what we had in the last set of elections, which were a little disappointing, I'll be honest about it, and particularly in London, which were very disappointing, we are going up, and we have caught up with the Liberal Democrats, and in my neck of the woods, where I'm from Somerton and Frome, which is the Liberal Democrat seat, held by Mr David Heath, who's on the 1900 majority, we hope to cause a bit of a stir come the next election.
Yes.
And that could be sooner than we think. Scheduled for 2015, but that could, if this current coalition goes the way it is going, with the House of Lords amendment has been talked about by the Liberals, and various other bits of silly bits and pieces, that we could find ourselves facing a general election. Right now at this moment, I myself, with others in the southwest, I don't know what's happening here in the Dorset area, we are in fact going through a selection process for getting our PPCs, our prospective parliamentary candidates, together. I have a meeting with Jim Carver, who probably most of you know of or heard of, up in his place up in Gloucestershire, and we hope to by about July or August time we will have all our people in place, because we suspect there is a very good chance that we may have a snap general election. It may not be a snapping election, it may be that we've got to have a general election, period, because this coalition ain't going too far. I'm fairly certain that one way or another. Events that's going on in Europe, as we speak, are changing almost hourly, so I'm not going to touch on that for today, because to be honest, you know, I haven't really seen the news today, but things are changing in such a way at the moment that who knows what's going to happen. All I do know is that Angela Merkel is in a tight spot. Her own people, her own party, the CDU, are beginning to turn against her. She's had a bad session in local elections a few weeks ago, at the time that the French went to the polls. At the moment, but the Italians and the Spanish are ganging up on her, and who knows what's going to happen. We all know what's happening with the euro. We personally, my wife and I, when we were in France, saw what was happening, and we got out. Because we could see expats who were seeing their pensions going down the Swanee rapidly for exchange rates. We could see there was going to be problems with the euro. Thank goodness we got out. And sadly, we know plenty of people in France and Spain who are suffering at the moment because they are stuck. Very unfortunately, because they can't sell their property because their value is just gone down the Swanee. So today, we have a situation which I want to convey to you, is that every one of you can play their part. It's very important, like I say, to be able to get and convey to people the message over, because it's one of the problems that we're all looked upon as in UKIP, as that we're a one sort of policy issue, that is the EU. It's not true. We are putting candidates up for local government. We want to remove currently with the council tax at the moment. We believe, for example, in local government, that we should introduce a sales tax, a bit similar to the old purchase tax. With a sales tax, very similar to which is operating in the United States, be a far better way of raising funds, and local authorities can have their money more in their own keeping to do things, and rather than being put on property value, because the rating system, good that it was, is not working. I mean, personally, I used to be in favour of the poll tax, but of course, unfortunately, that got clobbered, and we know where the story on that one went. So, I want to sort of wrap up, because I don't want to bore people to death.
No, you're not boring.
No, that's okay. By just saying that I thank all of you for turning up here today and listening to me rapid and ranting on. And I wish you very well. I hope that in the circumstances, I think it's Connor Burns and Mr. Elwood, who's your two members of Parliament, that you can get two very good candidates for UKIP here in Bournemouth. And I believe you've got Paul people here and New Forest. So, and go out and do whatever you can do to raise the standard for UKIP. I know that Vanessa's doing, you've got a store that's going.
Which is next Saturday.
Which is a great idea. And I know there is, in fact, literature here. And if you need any further literature to push out, I'm sure Vanessa and her crew here in the committees here for East and West Bournemouth running, we're too pleased to help out on stuff. It's something that we're looking to do down in Somerset at the moment. We were somewhat defunct as a branch, but we've come back up again. And as I was explaining to Vanessa, we've got some Tory defectors coming over at the moment. We just had 4 of them. We've got 2 or 3 councillors which had a meeting with Nigel Farage and Roger Helmer, is it Helmer? So that was only a few weeks ago. I was informed about that. So as many as 20 of them could be looking to come over at some point. But these are the sort of things that are going on, because believe me, as an ex-Tory, and what I've seen what's going on with the Conservative Party doesn't please me. It does hurt me, I'll be honest about it. But there are people out there that are seeing what's going on, particularly about Europe, and indeed locally here at local level, and they're not happy with it. They're not, as this gentleman earlier was saying about Musel, there is the Spanish people that running your council here in Bournemouth. It ain't looking too good, and this sort of thing needs to be stopped. We need to change things in this country in the right direction, and that is why it's very, very important that we get our message out there. So my finalised thing to say is thank you very much for listening to me. Get out there, get the message out. It's not easy, I understand that, and well, I wish everyone well. Thank you for listening.